Look at Eminem's life. Eminem's been sheltered his whole life with security. So Eminem probably got mad anxiety. He probably can't even be by himself and walk through a mall. You know what I'm saying? You can catch me at the most craziest gas station in any hood in America. You'd be like, that you, Zeno? Somebody, yo, let me get that picture. Yeah.
Bro, let me tell you, his fans like him because he's white. They don't fuck with us. Let me try to make
fuck Eminem. I dusted Eminem. Rap Elvis, bitch. Yeah.
It's 2025, and Benzino is still reaching, trying to pull Eminem into yet another back and forth while. M hasn't said a single word about him since Doomsday Part 2. Now Benzino's claiming Eminem used him for clout, saying M built his whole street reputation off their early 2000s beef, then tossed him aside like he never mattered. According to Benzino, he's the reason Eminem was ever seen as controversial, raw, or authentic. And sure, their drama made noise back then, but let's keep it real. Eminem buried him with a sauce and nail in the coffin. After that, M dropped 8 Mile, won an Oscar, and ran the entire 2000s. Meanwhile, Benzino lost the source, lost the culture, and somehow still talks like he walked away the hero of the story. Eminem isn't reacting at all to the non-stop noise. But someone else couldn't resist jumping in, and you already know who it was. 50 Cent, M's Day One ally, popped up online and went straight at Benzino. Now the two of them are trading shots like it's a throwback hip-hop feud. While all this is happening, Eminem is probably laid back somewhere, pen in hand, watching the chaos with a grin. So here's what we're breaking down: what Benzino actually said, how 50 turned the moment into an overnight viral circus, and why Eminem's silence is hitting harder than any diss track he could drop right now. Let's get into it. Benzino recently dropped a new freestyle, and the internet has been roasting it non-stop. So much that people are joking it's the hottest song in the senior citizen category. The comments are brutal. And as expected, Curtis Jackson wasn't about to stay quiet. 50 reposted the clip on X with the caption, "This is the worst subliminal I've heard all year." He's 60 years old, bro. No filter. No mercy. Benzino wasn't about to let that slide. He clapped back at 50 with a response that aimed straight at his inner circle. He took a shot at 50's former partner, Daphne, bringing up her connections to Diddy. Then went completely left field by challenging 50 to a boxing match on top of it all. The whole thing escalated fast, and the internet jumped on it immediately. But if you're wondering why 50 even gives Benzino the time of day, the answer is simple loyalty. That's one thing about 50. He rides for his people, no hesitation. And Eminem sits at the top of that list. No Debate.M was the one who believed in 50 when the industry was too scared to stand next to him. And that kind of bond doesn't break its lifetime. So when Benzino came at Eminem back in the early 2000s, that move permanently put him on 50's enemy list. No switching sides, no forgiveness. That's why every time Benzino resurfaces with a diss, 50 is right there, ready to flip the whole moment into a full-blown spectacle again. And now Benzino is back at it, once more calling Eminem sheltered, claiming he can't step outside without security, while bragging that he moves around solo anywhere with no fear. Benzino, it isn't wrong about one thing: Eminem never grew up trying to be some street king. But that's the part Benzino keeps missing. M never claimed to be. So now he's just talking in circles, pushing a narrative that doesn't line up with reality. And it only makes the whole argument sound messy and confused. What makes it even crazier is that he's back to taking shots at Eminem after what happened just last year on Drink Champs. He was literally getting emotional, talking about M, saying he wanted to meet face to face and finally put everything to rest, acting like he was genuinely looking for peace. Now fast forward to today, and Benzino is right back on the same energy, trolling both Eminem and 50 like none of that ever happened. Interview.
Hip-hop in Rosenberg and make trillions of dollars. This nigga didn't even go to Nipsey's funeral, bro. If he's so fucking hip-hop, how come he ain't blocked 10 blocks in motherfucking Detroit and give it to the homeless black people? Man, fuck Eminem, bro.
Few moments later.
I don't got nothing against Eminem. I got nothing against Eminem. Eminem can rap, but I care about us more. I don't want to go through, I don't want to talk about it no more. I don't want
To really understand why this keeps resurfacing, you've got to rewind back to 2002, when Eminem dropped his 4th studio album. The Eminem Show, the Source magazine gave it 4 out of 5 mics. But M felt it deserved a perfect score, especially considering how massive and culture-shifting that album was. That's when the tension officially boiled over. Eminem started taking shots at the Source and its co-founder, Benzino, convinced there was something shady happening behind the scenes. From that moment on, what started as a disagreement turned into a full-blown hip-hop sagwan that refuses to fade. Even decades later, fast forward to 2025, and Benzino is still claiming the only reason Eminem didn't get 5 mics was because he's white. That accusation was the spark that lit the wildfire. From there, the back and forth spread across the culture. Benzino began labeling Eminem a culture vulture, even calling him the 2003 Vanilla Ice, trying to drag his legacy through the mud. Then came Benzino's diss track, Pull Up Your Skirt, where he doubled down on the race angle, claiming Eminem's success had everything to do with his skin color. He rapped lines suggesting that if M were darker, nobody would care about his complex rhyme schemes or lyricism. He leaned heavily into the idea that Eminem benefited from the industry instead of grinding his way up like everyone else. That's when the beef crossed a line from standard rap drama into a full-on reputation war that's still echoing more than 20 years later. Benzino kept pushing the street credibility angle, questioning what Eminem knew about real-life struggles, indictments, and survival. He framed M as nothing more than industry hype, someone polished and protected, not someone who earned respect organically. Later on, Benzino tried to soften his stance slightly. In interviews with MTV, he claimed he never had a personal issue with Eminem. According to him, the real problem was the system, the double standard in hip-hop media. He argued that certain outlets treated Eminem like the savior of the culture, while overlooking the artists who built hip-hop from the ground up. In Benzino's words, Eminem was just a hood ornament for the industry's agenda. He even suggested M got away with things other artists never could, implying race played a role in how he was received. But in Pull Up Your Skirt, Benzino pushed the narrative even further, claiming Eminem ran to his manager and begged him to handle the beef. Eminem wasn't having that version of events at all. He responded loudly and clearly, firing back with multiple diss tracks and making it known he wasn't scared, wasn't hiding, and definitely wasn't asking anyone else to fight his battles. He denied every accusation and made it clear he was ready for whatever smoke came his way. That should have been the end, but Benzino escalated things again with Die Another Day, where he played a recorded phone call with Eminem's manager, Paul Rosenberg, trying to blow the situation out of proportion. Then he crossed a line that hip-hop and the culture as a whole doesn't tolerate. He brought Eminem's daughter into the beef, using her as a shock tactic. He referenced a real-life tragedy involving a minor, which immediately turned public opinion against him. One particular line aimed at Haley didn't just stir controversy, it permanently shifted how people viewed Benzino. Benzino later tried to justify it, claiming Eminem mentioned his son first. He pointed to bars from The Sauce, where M criticized how Benzino involved his own child in industry politics. But the difference was clear. Eminem wasn't threatening anyone. He wasn't attacking a child. He was calling out Benzino's behavior as a father, not crossing into dangerous territory. That contrast is exactly why the culture sided against Benzino. Eminem's bars were sharp but controlled. Benzino's response went too far into a lane nobody respected. M was critiquing actions. Benzino was reaching for shock value. And that difference mattered. When you look at the bigger picture, this entire feud highlights the gap between their legacies. Eminem let the music, the impact, and the career speak for itself. Benzino, 2 decades later, is still trying to rewrite history like people forgot what really happened. 50 Cent will keep clowning him. Benzino will keep trolling. That cycle probably isn't ending anytime soon. But Eminem doesn't even need to respond. His silence says more than any diss track ever could, and that's what really hurts. And that's the full breakdown. If you rocked with this deep dive, make sure to like, subscribe, share, and drop a comment for the Eminence Daily channel. Your support keeps these stories coming, so tap in and let me know what you want covered next.